Picture of the front, so you can get its face.
They got skulls all at the top too, okay?
What are you looking at? The glasses?
The face.
Oh, the face?
Oh, look at the, come zoom in and look at the face on the neck. Look at the neck.
Ah. Got a choker on.
Don't forget the piggy right in the back.
Come on, Memaw, you like this one.
I'll be in there in a
Okay.
second.
How do you feel about that one? Now try this one. Look a little scared, that little girl. Oh, it's as big as you. Which one do you like the best? Try that one.
Okay, well, hold it up.
Well, not with you in front.
Yeah, don't point it at Mom.
Yeah. Not supposed to do that.
She knows not to push anything. And they're not loaded.
Which one do you like? You like that one? Okay. So we're gonna flip this up for just a minute. Real gun. Always keep it pointed forward. We don't ever point it at anybody, okay? When we get ready to shoot, we have our trigger and our hammer. You're gonna take your thumb and you're gonna pull it all the way back, and it can be kind of tight. And then you just put your finger on your trigger, point, and shoot. Pull it back, fire, pull it back, and fire. You're gonna do that for all 6 shots. Importantly, when you pull this all the way back, your thumb, fingers, or hands right in here, because when you pull your trigger, this right here, will snap up and get your finger. Okay? Alrighty. Should we put yellow in there? I'm gonna put some. Okay, so you spin it around. Okay, just so we make sure all of our bullets and stuff are good, we spin that. So can you spin that? Good girl. All right, so we're loaded. Once again, we don't ever put it at anybody while it's loaded, okay? So you show me how you want to hold it. Okay, so remember to use your thumb. Use this thumb. Yeah, it's sometimes good with your thumb, but okay. That's okay. Okay, now you're ready to shoot. Go. Good girl. Okay, go back again.
She probably can't do it, but. Hey, you can.
You're gonna kind of go this way. Okay, very good.
Go get grandma, get a shot.
Good girl. Ooh, right in the throat.
There you go.
Watch it comes. Good girl. Amazing. Okay, you cough and I'll hold. Is it stuck? There we go.
Take your time.
Good girl.
Wow, Michaela.
All right, I'll hold and you cock. Pull this back. It's a little tough. All right, let's see, because I know we had 2 that didn't
Take
go
your
off.
time, Michaela.
You did good. See, there's one that didn't go. Good girl. Okay, you think you can pop it all by yourself?
You almost got the heart.
Nice
Wow.
job.
I don't think you have any more, do you?
Nope, we got them all. Good girl.
Wow, 5 out of 6 you got on there.
You want to go stand by your target so Mom can take a picture? Gotta point at it.
Hit the button and your tour concludes in our wedding chapel where the ghost bride of Josephine Earp is having the wedding she never had in real life. Doc for you.
Hello, friends. I'm your guide, Doc Holliday. Welcome to Tombstone. Let us step back in time to the 1880s, back when I was in my prime. Now, what are you doing here, Kate? No one invited you. Go on back to haunting the Birdcage Theater or the Crystal Palace Saloon where you belong. Go on now, go on. Pardon that interruption. This is an original 1800s Concorde stagecoach. Looks like it's been around, doesn't it? A little bit like my girlfriend, Kate. The first cross-country stage line passed just north of here and usually made the St. Louis to San Francisco trip in 22 long days. At the end of the journey, the first cross-country passenger remarked, "I now know what hell is like. I've just had 24 days of it." For $200, you got 15 inches of seat room and traveled all day and night, averaging just 5 miles per hour. Now, the Kinnear and Company stage line was Tombstone's. On March 16, 1881, it was ambushed. The shotgun guard and passenger were both killed, but the driver cracked the whip and made it to Benson with its $25,000 cargo of silver. A posse that was led by my good friend Wyatt Earp and Bat Masterson rode off in hot pursuit, but sadly, no one was ever punished for those murders.
Shot me.
Perhaps you'd better head on next door, where I'll tell you about other legends of the Old West. I do hope you make it.
Me too. Oh yeah, I'll make us go first.
Push it. Push it.
Go ahead and push it.
She's shooting. Shot you too, huh?
Oof.
Yep.
Some people just can't get over losing to me in a card game. Just glad their aim was bad. You know, back in the 1800s, Old West, violent death was common. You might die from an Indian raid led by the Apache Geronimo, a mine accident, a jealous lover, or a drunk with a grudge wanting to get even. Morgan Earp was gunned down just 2 doors from here in the Campbell and Hatch Saloon. A revenge killing stemming from the fight at the OK Corral. Frank Stillwell was rumored to be the hitman. He was later killed by my friend Wyatt Earp. Word is that at night you can sometimes see the ghost of Morgan's wife Louisa in the Campbell and Hatch Saloon as she searches for her dead husband. Nearby on Safford Street is the old Buford house. The story goes that jilted lover George Davies put 4 slugs in his former fiancée Cleopatra Edmonds out of jealousy. Leaving her for dead, he then shot himself with his last bullet. He died, but miraculously his girlfriend recovered and lived a full life. Folks say his ghost now haunts that house, still angry for his mistake. Near the old Tombstone courthouse, prisoner John Heath was lynched by a Bisbee mob and hung from a telegraph pole for his part in the Bisbee massacre. His coroner's report stated that he died from emphysema of the lungs. That's the Old West for you. You see his grave over there in Boot Hill. Yes, in those days you were mighty lucky to die in a warm, comfortable bed like I did. Pardon me, darn allergies. Let's go next door to the undertaker's parlor, which was quite busy in those days.
Not quite the haunted house I was waiting for.
Mama, I want to push it.
Wait for Memaw. Wait for Memaw.
No.
Okay, push it.
No.
Yeah.
This is like the,
Welcome to the undertaker's parlor. Last stop before you go to Boot Hill Cemetery. Boot Hill was so named since many people buried there died suddenly and violently, and are buried with their boots still on. The ground was hard as cement, so the graves were dug very shallow, and rocks were piled on top of the graves to keep the vermin sound. Back in the 1800s, most people were prepared for burial in their own homes, but this is Tombstone. Many people didn't have that option and were brought here to the undertaker's parlor. They usually got a plain wood coffin and a wood headstone if they were lucky. Bodies were rarely embalmed in those days, so they needed to be buried quickly. The McLowry brothers and Billy Clanton, victims of the famous OK Corral shootout, were buried the very next day. Their headstone states that they were murdered on the streets of Tombstone. Back then, people didn't carry IDs, and this boomtown was full of strangers, so often unidentified bodies would be found on the side of the road or in alleys. These unfortunate bodies would be openly displayed for a couple of days on a cooling slab in hopes that someone might recognize them. After 2 days in hot weather, the bodies were starting to get pretty ripe and had to be buried in Boot Hill. Now, several unmarked graves are found there.
Hey, Doc, what are you taking me to Boot Hill? Haven't I been here long enough?
Patience, Billy. Everyone is in such a hurry nowadays. Excuse me. I apologize. I think I'm allergic to dead people.
Everywhere I stand, I'm getting shot.
Let's go next door for some real excitement.
Wait till Memaw comes in.
Did you know that Tombstone is called the town too tough to die? This old town has survived 2 major fires, the mines flooding, and even an earthquake in 1887. Just up the street at 5th and Allen, a bartender was emptying a keg of bad whiskey when it exploded from his lit cigar. Nearly the entire town was wiped out by that. But it was soon rebuilt, only to have another devastating fire a year later in 1882. This time it started across the street in an alley by the Grand Hotel, which is now known as Big Nose Kate's. How that fire started is still a mystery. Early on, the mines had started taking in water at 520 feet down, and in 1881, enormous pumps had to be installed. But fire struck again in 1886, destroying a pump house, which led to a chain reaction as many of the underground pumps were themselves flooded. That breakdown, combined with lower silver prices, resulted in the end of boomtown Tombstone. Now a surprising danger lurks below. Parts of the town are networked with old mine shafts. One collapsed on Tough Nut Street a few years ago, creating a hole big enough to swallow an entire tour bus. In fact, there are some who say that there's a mine shaft under this very building, but I do not believe that for Oops. Well, I think perhaps you'd better
What'd you
leave
move
now.
for?
Thank you for coming. Goodbye for now.
That's what that was. I said.
I was waiting for the floor to move.
It did.
Oh, did it?
Full drop. This one started without us.
He loves me. He loves me not. He loves me. Forsaking all others. You may now kiss me. He loves me. He loves me not. Never forget
Those of you in the back, you need to move along now. We got a wedding to perform.
He loves me. Till death do
Those of you in the back, you need to move along
us
now.
goodbye.
We got a wedding to perform.
I asked her if she'd be my wife, be my wife. Hello there. I'd be happy all my life if she just married me. Say Buffalo Bill, come out tonight, come out tonight, come out tonight. Buffalo Bill, come out tonight and dance by the light. Dancing with a dolly with a hole in her stocking and her knees keep her knocking and her toes keep her rocking. Dancing with a dolly with a hole in her stocking, dance by the light. Say Buffalo Bill, there you go, come on, come out tonight. There you go. Buffalo girls, come out tonight and dance by the light of the moon. Yeah, Buffalo girls, come out tonight, come out tonight, come come out tonight. Buffalo bells, come out tonight and dance by the light of the moon. Wee doggy's birthday! Yeah. Thank you.
I was hoping it was here.